And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. Donald Trump is having what can only be described as a good day and a bad day. But let's start with the good. According to the latest polls out of New Hampshire, the Donald now leads his competition by a 2-to-1 margin. Trump's numbers now stand at 24%, while Jeb Bush is in second place with 12%, and newly announced John Kasich and Scott Walker both tied for the third place with 7%. Joe, your man Kasich, he's on the move.
That's right. He announced, he's official, and he can't be stopped.
You know, you got to give him credit. It's been less than a week and he's making a move there. Maybe he'll surprise us. It would certainly appear, though, that Trump's remarks regarding John McCain has not created any backlash whatsoever, as his numbers appear to be holding in every single national and state-based poll. But that brings us to the bad news. An article published today in the Daily Beast reports that Mr. Trump's ex-wife Ivana once used the word rape to describe an incident between the pair back in 1989. In responding to the charge, Trump attorney Michael Cohen told the publication, "You're talking about the frontrunner for the GOP presidential candidate, as well as a private individual who never raped anybody. And of course, understand, by the very definition, you can't rape your spouse," adding, "It is true, you cannot rape your spouse, and there's very clear case law." Except that the Trump attorney is completely wrong, as in all 50 states, spousal rape is understandably completely illegal. Cohen later sought to clarify his remarks by apologizing and calling his comments inarticulate. However, Mr. Cohen did not appear to be apologizing for his threats against the author of the Daily Beast article. Unhappy with the notion of what was to be published, Cohen had this to say: "I will make sure that you and I meet one day while we're in the courthouse, and I will take you for every penny you still don't have, and I will come after your Daily Beast and everybody else that you possibly know. So I'm warning you, tread very effing lightly, because what I'm going to do to you is going to be effing disgusting. You understand me?" I'll let that one sit with you. Now, Ivana Trump is defending the billionaire, denying the substance of the article, despite the fact that her original comments allegedly come directly from her sworn testimony in a deposition during her divorce to Mr. Trump. In a statement, Ivana Trump addressed the Daily Beast story, saying, "I have recently read some comments attributed to me from nearly 30 years ago at a time of very high tension during my divorce from Donald. The story is totally without merit. Donald and I are the best of friends and together have raised 3 children that we love and are very proud of. I have nothing but fondness for Donald and wish him the best of luck on his campaign. Incidentally, I think he would make an incredible president." So, Heather, what kind of damage does this do to the Trump campaign, if any? And did Michael Cohen, did he do any good by apologizing or not even dealing with his threats? What's going on here?
Listen, I think that the people who are for Trump, this is not going to change a thing. It's too long ago. What shocks me is that this book has been out for, what, 30 years?
Right.
It's been available. What is shocking to me is that Michael Cohen, the attorney for Donald Trump, has not prepared a better answer than the mess that he gave today. First, the response, and second, the threat. I think that ultimately this is not the way to take Trump down if that's what one is looking to do. There has got to be, or maybe not, better ways in which to do this, better opposition research that any of the candidates could come up with than something that is been denied by the wife, was put in the front of the book that she said it was no longer not true.
Well, partially.
But it's so questionable, not provable, has been denied by the woman who alleged it. It is not going to be enough to hit him.
I'm actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I am as troubled by the behavior of Mr. Trump's representative, Mr. Cohen, with the threats, as I am about the original alleged offense. Because if this is the way Trump treats people and deals with people when he disagrees with them, Brad, what does that say to you?
Well, I think they're related. They're both abuse of power situations. Now, the truth is, with Ivana, we don't know either way. She could have been lying in the divorce because it was bitter. She could be lying now, and she's well incentivized for both. I think the thing to bear in mind is here, if we're going to beat Trump, people who want to, it's going to have to be on the merits. It's going to have by saying, do you want an off-the-cuff presidency? Where are you on the issues? So I think it's best to stay away from smear. but I don't think it's going to work. I think
that's
you're
all
right.
we're getting, isn't it?
I understand, and I think that's a shame. I think we're going to have to really ask serious questions that will out where he stands on issues, which is going to be a much better way to go. That said, what the attorney said and did is outrageous. It is troubling, and I do think it's indicative of the way Trump and his people work.
I'm a lawyer, and I'm not going to name any names, but I deal with similar language quite often. I think that sometimes lawyers are bulldogs, and that's their job. And you are, as the client, are not the one who's going to dirty your hands and go after it and get down and dirty. But sometimes there are lawyers who say what he said, and I don't think if he were my lawyer, I'd be more worried about his lack of preparation. That information has been out there. The way that he talked.
Joe, picking up on what Brad said, that the way you ought to judge any candidate, not just Mr. Trump, is based on their policies, based on the substance of what they have to say. Well, we know kind of what his policy is on immigration, but what do you make of the fact that we're getting very little in the way of policy, and that his popularity very much appears to be based on his willingness to to talk trash?
Because he likes to speak in broad strokes, because the ADD culture that we have now absorbs broad strokes well. People are crossing the border too much. We have to stop it. How do you plan on doing that? Don't worry about it. All right? It's a problem, and I'm on it. The Chinese, I'm going to deal with it. I'm on it. I'm just troubled by Heather because she just pulled a Star Jones and said, I'm a lawyer.
I avoid that. I avoid
just
that.
saying.
I let it pass.
Haven't you dealt with lawyers like that?
Maybe I have.
To answer your question, overarching themes is what rules today with Trump, and that's that's part of the reason why it resonates, because it's easy to absorb.
It's all yours.
Well, thank you. So big media and critics say Donald Trump isn't prepared to take over the White House. Well, many say he is. In fact, he wrote a whole book outlining exactly what he would do as president. It's called Time to Get Tough. The bestseller details Donald Trump's plan for our southern border, China, terrorism, and much, much more. If you want to learn more about Trump's plan, check it out or go to newsmax.com/TrumpBook to get your free offer. That's right, you can get the best-selling book, Time to Get Tough, for free. More Daily Wrap in just a moment.